Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Jay here, aka Mojo Sports, coming at you guys with the Collector Podcast, episode 7 here. I'm very excited to have my guest today. It is Ricky Berman, aka Ricky Breaks. If you guys are trying to get into card breaks, or if you want to follow his actual collector page, Ricky Berman, what's up, man?
What's up, Jay? Thank you for having me on here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, bro. I always appreciate the young people in the community that are grinding, bro. I seen you on the Ricky Breaks. I seen you, just from your collecting page, you actually PC people and people get to see kind of more of the collector side and a little bit less of the investor side with you. So I'm glad to have you on, man.
Absolutely.
My first kind of thing, how long you been doing this? When did you start collecting?
So I started collecting in 2011. Um, that's the year that I first really started to get cards. But I think things started to really pick up when I joined Instagram, and that was 2014. Um, since then, collecting has just been everything that I love to do, and it's been a lot of fun.
Heck yeah. When you were collecting in 2011, were you on YouTube or what were you? If they did, because they didn't have Instagram, obviously. What were you? Because I was on YouTube and it's funny you said 2011 because I started collecting in 2011 and you're 19 and I am 26. So you got a head start kind of in terms of collecting while young. What were you using for like posting your cards or whatever?
So I wasn't really on any platform posting cards, but I will say the journey that I took to discover cards was kind of a unique one. Um, when I was born, 2002, my parents were living in the city of San Francisco. Um, and then my mom, she just recently told me this, and I kind of connected the dots. She would always go to Safeway, and her thing was to buy Honey Bunches of Oats cereal. Now, I know this is a really weird segue, but those boxes of cereal came with two packs or a pack of two cards, and those are my first cards. I'll show those here. Um,
Wow.
so I had these before I even knew what cards were. And then in 2011, um, we were in upstate New York. We have family that lives there, and we were just visiting. And I came across a card shop, and I knew what cards were. I was a baseball fan already, but I never really thought that you could find the place to buy them, like a card shop. Um, so when we went in there, I mean, that's my first experience being in a shop, and it was just overwhelming. But I just immediately started looking for all my PC guys.
Look at
Uh,
that.
well, PC being like my favorite players at the time. So I remember distinctly there were a bunch of dollar bins, and I told everybody in my family to just start digging through, find all the Giants cards, doesn't matter who they were. And the owner of the shop told me, um, hey, I have a Tim Lincecum rookie card. And being 2011 when he was at his prime, that kind of surprised me. I was looking for cards. I'll show them on camera. Like this Lincecum, it's just a random tops card, Posey, just random flagship cards. And he tells me he has a Lincecum card, and these were all dollar cards. And then
Look at
I asked
that.
my mom if I could buy it. $7 was the price at the time, and that's what got me hooked. Right from there, when he told me he had that card, because I just thought it was so unique, so cool, and right for the price. And it was just like from then on, I really wanted to keep collecting them.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing, dude. Tim Lincecum, bro. So I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. A lot of people don't know that, but I mean, I watched Timmy. That was my freshman year of high school. 2009 was when MLB 2K9 came out, and dude, the freak, man, he was the king, man. I always wanted him to come back and come back strong, but I'm always grateful that he pitched those years for the Giants, bro. He was. I wish I could have collected him while he was playing. I feel like that would have been so cool to do. It probably would have been a little expensive. Cards were kind of up and down during when 2011. I think you remember this, but like card shops and stuff, like cards weren't at what they are now. Obviously, it was pretty fair
Right.
pricing for most rookies. People weren't really like freaking out about rookie cards. You were kind of just trying to open boxes, hoping to pull like a rookie autograph, from an NFL guy or something.
Right.
So
I
that's
think the $7 price tag, I don't know why I'll always just remember that, but when I thought about I could pay money to have a little piece of like a token that I can remember Tim Lincecum by for the rest of my life, that's just like when I realized the true beauty of collecting. Lincecum, far and away, was one of my favorite players at the time. I mean, growing up with the Giants um, during those prime years, 2010, 12, 14, those championship runs, it was just exhilarating. I mean, that's when I really started to grasp like the beauty of collecting and the beauty of baseball, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you mentioned that a token. I haven't heard that one before, and I actually like that because I think about with getting autographs at a game. You know, obviously we have COVID going on, but before COVID, you could go to a ball game and you know go into the game was fun. But if you got an autograph from the game, you got like a ticket signed or you got the baseball signed or some rookie card signed, it was something to take. It was the getting you close to the game, and I think that's what we all try to do. Is part of collecting is it gets you kind of close to the game. And if you have a favorite team, your passion, like the passion and the camaraderie to support that team, it's like especially the Giants, man. That was literally my high school life was the Giants winning the World Series, which is unbelievable. All right, man. So yeah, we both collect the San Francisco Giants. You collect them more than I do, but who else do you collect besides the San Francisco Giants? You always talk about collecting what you love, and I totally believe in that. I feel like if you collect what you love, you're not worried about financial, problems and picking up the wrong investment, and that's why when I collect, like to bring out the collector in me, I balance it out with PCs. And that's the Kings, that's the Giants, that's DeMarcus Cousins, that's Kentucky guys, and various other guys. So who do you PC, and what does that mean? What do they mean to you?
So above all, I do consider myself a Giants fan. Um, Pardon the D-backs hat, but I grew up a Giants fan. So what I most collect is all those players like Bumgarner, Posey, Lincecum, the guys that I grew up watching. And then aside from that, it's kind of just um, a love for baseball, a love for just the game in general. So I dip my toes into the Rockies, the D-backs, and the Padres because those are I'd say it's like I love the NL West minus the Dodgers, but within each team, there's like several players that I really like, and I kind of just bond over that. Um, but then, of course, I'm sure people are waiting for me to mention Josh Hader and Colin Ray. Those are like the super collections, if that makes sense. The guys that I will collect no matter what, and I will forever cherish as both players and mentors in a sense.
So why those guys? Why Josh Hader? I met him. He's a nice
So,
guy.
absolutely, he is a nice guy. Um, I can't really pinpoint the exact moment, um, but I think it really started when I met him. For most people, I think that's the case where they fall in love with a player because of an experience they had with them. And I think that really applies the same to me with Hader. I met him, it was after a D-backs Brewers game, and he was walking out. There were a bunch of players, like all the graphers were out there. I kind of just happened to be there with my friend, and we were all waiting and watching to see who will come out, who will sign, like parking lot. And Hader was one of the guys that I just remember as soon as I saw him, I recognized him. And when I recognized him, I remembered I have a card of him. And he signed for everybody. He signed for everyone there, hit, all of your items. And I just thought that was just such a class act. He signed my card, I had it. And then once I started to remember the name, Josh Hader, I kept hearing about him because that was 2018. He was an all star, reliever of the year, all of that. So he was just a guy that I kept keeping an eye out for. And once I started getting his cards, I didn't want to stop. I just kept grabbing his cards, and I mean, people would send me his stuff, and I myself, I think people will see that I have long hair and he has long hair. I love to pitch, and he's a pitcher, but I think what I most like about him is just he's the kind of guy that will never get too expensive. He'll never be, you know, at the center of media attention. He plays for the Brewers. They're a smaller market team, but he's a guy that people can respect, that I can turn on a game, I can expect to see him watch, he's lights out. It's just like the kind of player that you want to be like, if that makes sense.
No, I totally relate to that, man. That's me with DeMarcus Cousins, man. I mean, when I was waiting out in the rain and he was, signing stuff for me, or he just acknowledged me at games or gave me his headband after a game, and I just love the way he played, and that's the thing. It's you nailed it. I think it's like the way he plays. He's in a smaller market, and just how he is as a person. That serves well for me too, because with DeMarcus Cousins, he's very passionate and. I love that. So that's cool, man. That's the collector, man. That's what I like to see, and that's the hobby right there. That describes it pretty well, man.
Absolutely.
That's what's up. What are some things the community doesn't know about Ricky Berman? So we obviously see the cards, we see the breaks. Let's like, wait, what are some like things we don't know about you that you would want us to
So
know? Only the
I
good things,
think,
right?
right, right. I think the main thing that I want to address, um, because this comes up as a question so much, I grew up in the Bay Area for the first, 17 years of my life, and rather 15. Um, and I grew up a Giants fan, right? And then I moved to Arizona in 2017, and I've been living here ever since. And this is kind of where I think I kind of get a pardon for acting like a D-backs fan because it's just like when I'm in Arizona, you kind of have that vibe. You collect the local team, you connect with them because you go to their games. So first and foremost, I'll say I'm from the Bay Area, but I live in Arizona. And besides cards, besides collecting, um, I think one of the things I'm most passionate about is music. I love listening to music. I've been a musician. Um, I took drum lessons when I was a kid. I've been playing the drum set for about 10 years now, um, for the my high school band when I was um, in jazz band. And music has just been something that, like baseball, like collecting, is a beautiful outlet. It's a place that I can go to and feel comfortable with myself. It's a way of expressing things that words can't describe. And when you're a musician, you really start to appreciate little things. And I don't mean that like nobody else can see, beauty in things, but because I've had such a great connection. I mean, so much music gives me nostalgia. I have certain memories attached with it. Just like baseball, I mean, certain cards take me back to a certain year when I was collecting, take back to a certain game, a player, a moment. It's the same with music. It's just a great way to find find who you are, find what you love, and really be yourself.
That's cool, man. I always respect that people have hobbies outside of collecting. I think for me, playing basketball has been my outlet. Sports, obviously. I mean, I'm totally a sports guy. I tried playing guitar like when so I had the chance to play in a band versus playing sports, and I was in like sixth grade, and it was the leap. It was like, are you gonna play basketball and football, or are you gonna try to play guitar? I tried to play guitar at the talent show. We couldn't figure it out. I did not know how to play, and I gave up the guitar and picked up a basketball and played football, and I never really looked back. But I respect that you had that. That's cool, man. And that's the thing. That's like the hobby. It's doing something you love when you can just go do that when life's going on. You got the school, like when I was in college, the school projects and just all the tests and the exams, and when I was in high school, the SAT. The greatest feeling in the world was that once I got that done, I could go into my hobby. And what that meant was I could open some packs, I could talk with collectors, make a YouTube video, go to a card show. And like those are important things. And like it's all in a balance. And what that brings me next to is like, what are some of the struggles you've climbed through with collecting? For me, time management's been up and down. When I was in high school, I really vested into this hobby a lot, and I think it helped in a way. But I mean, I wish if I could have done it differently. And this is going out to anybody that's in high school. I wish I put more time into sports. I wish I would have played golf. I wish I would have tried baseball. I only I only was good at basketball and football, and I wouldn't even say good. I just played them because I liked them. But time management wise, I put a lot of time into collecting when I could have been doing it somewhere, doing other things.
Right. Um, I think you kind of hit the spot right there. Cards and collecting is a place that you can kind of go home to, and it never really was a number one priority for me, but I think I've kind of wanted it to be, if that makes sense. I'm currently a freshman in college, and it's really interesting. I mean, that's the only word I can use to describe how it is when you're trying to juggle your professional career, your aspirations, your dreams, what you want to do, um, and what you love, being the hobby. So it's just like, what do I value most? What do I think deserves the most time and attention? What is my biggest passion? And finding that balance between giving enough time to what I should be doing, right? School is obviously a high priority. My education, of course, I can't really go far without it. And cards, it should be a secondary. The struggle is when I give too much attention to one side. I don't want to get overwhelmed in schoolwork, but I don't want to completely forget about it and get lost in cards. It's really easy to just dive into cards and, you know, focus your um, focus your attention on looking on eBay, scrolling through Instagram. It takes up a lot of time, and like you said, with time management, it does. Collecting takes time. It takes a lot of effort to really establish, your path, establish what your motives are, and when you're juggling a bunch of things at once, especially, I'm only 19 right now. Growing up, it's just a struggle finding a balance and realizing what my life direction should be.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I think too, it's like I think part of the podcast is like helping the younger generation out. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Watch what I'm doing. My actions are huge in this community, in terms of like whether I say something versus if I'm gonna do it. And I try to portray as what you see is what you're gonna get. And I think that's important in the community. I think through networking and everything else. I think what you said about balance is huge. I'm telling you, firsthand experience in high school, I did not have a good balance with this. Another issue that came up in high school was people thought collecting was weird. They like if you
Right.
weren't a collector, at least from my experience, if you're young in high school, if you're having a different experience, I think it's a lot different because there's a lot more people collecting. You got Steve Aoki, and you got people that are just representing the hobby. I think Card Collector too. He posted something recently today, actually recently today. Embracing the put yourself out there. See beyond the cardboard. Embrace the weird. And Ryan put a great twist on it, and that's passing the torch to the younger collectors, that this isn't a weird thing anymore. If you're happy collecting and you want to do this, you should totally do it. But when I collected, I had people saying, "Oh, you're lame. This is so dumb." They're making fun of everything about me, and I took it so personal. If I could have done it differently, I would have said, "You know what? I love doing this, and it's helped me a lot in my life through struggles, and I love it." And it takes what it takes.
Right. What what collecting I think has blossomed into is a thing that people really appreciate for what it is. Um, I'd like to give a good shout out to my buddies Kyle and Eric, if you guys are listening. When I was in middle school, I don't want to say, I was a total loser, but it's not that like I had a bunch of friends, if that makes sense. I didn't want to put myself too far out there because I was afraid of what people would think of me. And my two buddies, they both loved baseball. They both were always willing to do whatever during lunchtime, before school, hang out after school. We both, or all three of us, I'd say, um, really bonded over the sport. And they knew what cards were. We used to always trade before class or during lunchtime. We'd bring cards and share our PCs, just whatever we could find at Target. Those were the days where you could find stuff on shelves and cards were something that you could just make small talk about. But moving forward, cards were never really a thing that I could say is me, represents who I am. not until recently have people started to realize that cards are, it's a lifestyle, I'd say. It's a hobby. It really makes up who you are. And I think even my parents have started to, adopt that mentality that they're looking into cards. They're opening their eyes and seeing like, hey, this is an opportunity to learn, to grow. And, if not all that, then make a few quick bucks. And cards these days have become acceptable. And that's what I think is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. Cards, it makes me so happy because something I've loved for the last 10 years is finally like in recognition. And, at the end of the day, it really didn't matter because I was still doing it the last 5 years without the recognition and all the other stuff. But I think people taking notice, I got friends from high school that are really into it now. And like, they're trying to ask me, what hobby boxes should I buy? What should I buy now? And it's like, before this even became a thing,
Mhm.
it's just like it's not. I mean, time. I told you before the podcast, time is moving so fast right now. But I'm taking it all in. As like Huey Lewis says, ride the wave. I don't know what's gonna happen with this card boom, but at the end of the day, and I think you can attest to this, like we're having fun. I will never
Yeah,
forget what happened in Dallas. I will never forget hosting a podcast. I will never forget where I came from, and I still know what it was like to struggle collecting. And I think I'm realizing this now is bringing you on has helped me see that the young collector generation needs to take this thing over, and it's important to share
absolutely.
these experiences so that some one day some once COVID ends, kids are going to be back in school and they hopefully they know it's okay to collect and you can have fun with it, and if it's bringing you close to the game, guess what? It did that for us too.
Right. I think what you said, I mean, is perfect. I completely agree. Right now, cards have kind of become a thing where you can identify who you are, you can represent yourself in cards. You mentioned, Mojo Sports, your podcast. I've never really thought of myself as, Ricky Berman or Ricky Breaks, but now that's who I am. Those are my outlets. I've, since 2011 when I started collecting, I've built up a profile that represents me. It's just who I am. I mean, let me find a good example like um in terms of cards, I mean, Josh Hader, why not? This guy, this card, this is me. And I have something that I can connect with. I mean, that's just a base card, but when people see Josh Hader cards, they think of me. When they see my page, they think of Josh Hader cards. It's just like you never really, when you like first dive into cards, you never really think that reflects who you are, but it does. If that makes sense. When I see your page, when I think of you as the guy that has Luca autographs, has Trout autographs, like your recent video.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like the type of person that I feel like you are based on what you have. And when people see, my page, I'd like to think that it represents who I am. It's fun. Cards are fun, right? You're not really out here trying to, I don't know what's the right word, like be the biggest person, right? You're not trying to be somebody you can't be. Cards are, I mean, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it's just what you are.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And I think too it's like 10, I'm going to say this, 10 followers, 100 followers, 10,000 followers, all that stuff, it doesn't even matter. When I
Hmm.
got that 10,000 followers, I didn't get them weighted, And like you said,
Right.
people identify based on your page. You're building a portfolio for yourself, and it's like, okay, like, is it cool to make money? Is it cool to get the big sale? Yeah, but is it like, how cool is it to see somebody who's passionate and actually loves doing this, and they're not nickel and diming and whining about losing $7,000 on the investment? Don't get me wrong, I've lost money, I've bitched and moaned, I whined, and I'm learning to get a little bit of humility here to think that what, it's not about me anymore. This is a community thing. If I can pass the torch, if I can help somebody else out, if we can put a smile on somebody's face, you know what? That's all that matters, right? Is this a
Absolutely.
business? I just got checked on this by somebody that I was seeing in my dad's work. He's like, it's a hobby or a business. What are you gonna pick? And I told him I don't, I can't make that decision. I think it's a hobby and a business. I won't, because I still collect DeMarcus Cousins and I'll never sell anything. So it is a hobby and it is a business
Mhm.
because we are making money to buy and sell things and to run this as a gig, and I'm very grateful for all the people that have supported the pages over the years, and I never try to take that for granted, But if for one second I think that I'm, the king or any of that stuff in this community, then I will lose everything, And I try to stay humble
Absolutely.
through that. I don't want to be the best. I don't want to be the GOAT. People say all the time. I appreciate that, but like, I want to just be with people. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm not think I'm different than anybody. I'm not
Yeah.
better than you.
I've, I mean, the words that you're saying, and, you know, as you're saying them, I'm listening to you and trying to get a picture of what you're saying. And it's just like, that sounds exactly like me. I think anybody that's listening to this, they will think that sounds exactly like me too. And, if they share it, somebody else hears it, they'll say, oh, that sounds like me. And that's the beauty, what we are collectively as a community. We're all individuals, but together we're all human. We're all the same, right? I mean, I've got what, 3,600 followers. It's just a number to me. It's just a number. The only thing that matters is that I know people that I can trust. I know people that I can rely on, even beyond cards. I have a group chat that of friends. Shout out to Bob, Kai, Travis, those three guys. No matter the time of day, no matter what the issue is, I can turn to them. I can talk to them. I can trust them. If I have, investor advice, I ask them. If I have a question about, something going on in my life, I can ask them. Cards go beyond just, sports, beyond money, beyond the hobby. Cards connect people. You build relationships because we all understand, like, we've all been in the same boat. People will DM me every single day asking me, why do I collect, XYZ? Um, how much money do I make selling my cards? Why do I do this? Why do I do that? And the answer from me is always simple. It's just I'm doing what I love. And if I can connect and make friends, build relationships with other people because we share that in common, that's just what the community is all about.
100%, man. I mean, I don't even need to ask you the question, what has the community done for you? You pretty much nailed it. I think the networking, and I was just talking about this with Max, Football Cards FS, on the last podcast. You never know, you don't need to be shaking hands. And this is the cool thing about this podcast is I'm learning so much is you don't need to shake hands with somebody with the best cards or the worst cards. You don't, it doesn't matter what they have, You never know what that person could do for your life one day. You might graduate college and
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. Maybe I'll be like, "Yo, Ricky, you want to work for us?" You want maybe you got a sports management or marketing degree or a web designer. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just know deep down it's like you said, I have people I can trust. I have friends, and some of my best friends are in the hobby. And it's like those are the same people that will be at my wedding. They're gonna be showing up for my family. I mean, that's the key right there, and I love it. And you love it too, and that's all,
Absolutely.
that's all you could ask for. All right, so
I
we're
mean,
talking about. Wait, go ahead.
I was gonna point out that like I've kind of grown up with cards. I'll mention again, like I'm only 19 right now. Started my Instagram page in 2014, so that's like the last 7 years of my life. But that's, that's when I'm growing up. From my childhood to, I mean, adulthood coming up really soon, if not already, right? And when you're in the community and you're talking to people and you're learning things and you can apply that to your own life. I will say firsthand, I have learned so much from talking to people, just asking questions. It doesn't even have to be like questions about cards. I can ask them anything at any point, right? When you're making friends, you you're basically giving yourself an outlet, a place to feel comfortable, be who you are. It doesn't matter, doesn't matter how many followers I have, doesn't matter what cards I bought yesterday. It's we can all just be human, be connect on a level. The community, I will never ever be able to put into words how much it has helped me. Like I will say thank you. I will, do a giveaway. I'll shout somebody out, give them a care package. None of that will ever come close to truly expressing how thankful I am for, this journey. And like you said, even after college, we'll see. Like whatever happens, happens. Um, I don't know if cards are here for now, if cards will remain a part of my life forever and ever. I don't know if my breaking page will turn into my full-time career even after college, but I mean, you never know. But the opportunity is there,
Yeah.
and it's just it's just such a great thing that this community is. You can't really find it anywhere else.
That's what's up, man. Attitude's everything. You have a good attitude on this. You got to keep that. That'll push you far. Not even just in the cars, just in college and stuff. It helps a lot to have a good attitude. Let's talk about braking. So you got Ricky Brakes. How's that going? Like, what are there any struggles with brakes? Like, or what made you want to be a braker? Is it just the idea of opening the packs, or how does that work?
So I've used to I used to open some boxes like on my lives, and I would sell spots, right? Just like a pick your team break on my main page, I guess. So Ricky.Berman, that's my collector page. I used to do that from time to time just for fun. And then it was last summer, I think, that I really wanted to take the next step. So before it was just having fun, selling spots to my friends, like, hey, this seems like a fun product to open. Let's get some cards out of it, have some fun. When I decided I want to have a break page, it was less that I wanted to be like like the big dogs, be the biggest breaker. I don't want to have that kind of fame, attention. You know what I mean? When I decided I wanted to break, it was because I wanted to give back to the community. I see so many breakers out there, right? I'm not the first person to do it. It is not, I'm not the only breaker on there. It's not like an idea I came up with, and I'm not unique, is what I'm trying to say. But what I try to do with my breaking page, what I strive for, is make sure that my prices are as cheap as possible, right? So that anybody can just walk in, buy a spot, get some cards. And I won't talk about profits, but because you know, that's personal information, but like I'm not here for the money. I'll say that. And when I'm opening packs on live, it's fun because, like you said, it's the thrill of ripping wax, right? It is fun just to have that chase, knowing that, there could be, a Mike Trout autograph in this box. You never know. But what's fun for me is being able to help others. And when they're buying into my breaks, I make sure that they get the quality that they deserve, right? If they don't pull something good, I'll send them extras. This is about building their collections and the chance of like pulling something huge. My biggest pull as a breaker was a Spencer Torkelson autograph. The guy sold it for I think $1,300, right? It's a
Wow.
lot of money. So sure, that's fun, but at the end of the day, we're just having fun. Um, I recently went on a trip. Um, right around the time you were in Dallas, I was visiting friends in Texas, and I explained to them what it is I do, like what breaking is, and they've started to join my lives. They've started to buy some personal packs, right? It's fun to bond over that, and it's fun to give back, if that makes sense.
100%, man. I mean, I think I think doing it as a business, you learn how to be a businessman, and you're being fair. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I
Right.
totally respect that. I respect the hustle. The key thing you mentioned there is, look, there's 1,000 breakers on Instagram, but you don't need to be the best, right? Whoever's
Right.
gonna support, then I wish people would take. I hope people listen to this and you take this to the freaking heart, and I hope it meets from your head to your heart right here, right now. The eBay 90 day, the I made the best breaks, I'm the best autograph collector, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. No, you got to get
Yeah.
that out. You don't need to be the best. You just need to do your best.
Right.
And I
Right.
think
Be.
the
Mhm.
ego gets into this thing. We post the nice Jordan. We post, I posted the Trout, and I got a little pep in my step. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my god, I got the bet. I got it. I had to mention I got it for 625. And
Right.
it's like, I mean, I did get a good deal, but it's like I love Trout and it's cool, but it's like deep down, it's like we all have it in us, to show off that stuff, and I'm transparent about it, man. I totally get it. I can catch myself and I could do better next time, obviously.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with having, being proud of, your collection and stuff like that. I just hope people don't base your self worth off of your 90-day eBay, because at the end of the
Right.
day, I'm glad you're making money. I want you to make
Mhm.
money. I want to make money. We all make money. In the words of Mark's Cards, I want everybody to eat, right?
Right.
I
So
love I love that guy.
what I always ask myself is, why should people be breaking with me, right? Why should people trust me? I like to think that I have a reputation, right? I'm just a kid, but it is nice to really be full of yourself for a little bit, if that makes sense. Like you said, when you have that little pep and, you know, you're feeling excited, it
You're
is nice to
proud
have that. Like,
because you
yeah, you're
built,
chasing the
and
high.
that's okay.
Right,
You built a healthy network, like you built a portfolio.
right,
Like that's why I was like leveling out. Like it's okay. There's healthy pride, and there's just there's a difference.
right. But I want to connect with each and every customer. I treat everybody the same, right? I package all of your cards the same. I'm I try to, communicate as much as possible. I make group chats, keep everybody on the same page. It's just the little things that I think add up. It really makes a big difference when you are as open, as transparent as possible.
And
You kind of echoed
and you're
this a little
communicating.
earlier,
The
right?
communicating,
Because
man. The
people will look up to you. They will see you never know who you're influencing. You never know who's watching you, what assumptions people are making based off of your actions. And if you are keeping an open book, a clean slate, no drama, you're not anybody's worst enemy, then I think you'll be doing okay, because really there's no reason, like you said, there's no reason to be the best as long as you are your personal best, as long as you are doing everything you can for yourself. And the only thing that matters at the end of the day is that you're happy.
Exactly, dude. I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm gonna tell this to everybody. The honest mistake I made throughout high school and college, and this is a big one, and I hope people learn from this, is I really tried to be the best, you know, and that was not a healthy thing to do. I used to run a Facebook forum, Autographs 101. We had like 25,000 people, and I will completely be honest, like there was times when like that running that group was a big problem for me. That power struggle and having that power, it made me I hated it. I honestly hated it. I liked it and I hated it. I didn't I helped a lot of people with that group and everything, and it was amazing that we hit that many members. But deep down, like I was not who I am today, and that's just a direct result of maturing, going through some bad experiences, and just kind of, you know, going from that. But it's like you don't need to be the best; just try your best. I'm really
Right.
affirm in that. I'm totally into that.
Um, I kind of want to echo one more thing. Um, First and foremost, that when I say I'm a PC collector, that doesn't mean I'm going broke collecting the guys I love. There is always time to invest. There's always time to make a few dollars here and there, right? Like when people ask me, am I an investor? I say no, but at the same time, I will say yes, if that makes sense. Because when I'm flipping certain cards here and there, it's because I want to buy PC cards. And the thing is, like, I know in the long run, Josh Hader, if I sell him, I'm not going to, make $1 million, right? He's not Mike Trout. But there are times when it's okay to splurge, right? It's okay to get something that makes you happy. Um, I get asked a lot what my favorite card is. And
What do you got?
I mean, truthfully, the answer is everything. I love everything that I have. I got this past
Oh,
summer, right? I thought to myself, no collection's complete without Mike Trout, right? And I'm not going to say how much I bought it for, how much, it's appreciated since I bought it, but
it was
do
20,000.
I,
I'm just kidding.
right? Do I feel as happy owning that as I do, for example, um, what's a card that people would like to see? Do I feel as happy owning that as I do this Josh Hader card right here, right?
Yeah, that's pretty
The
sick.
answer is, I mean, yeah, I love everything, right? Doesn't matter the value, doesn't matter the player. It makes me happy. Um, I was really fortunate, by the way, with that card. I pulled a Glaber Torres gold rookie card. Was visiting my old LCS. I mentioned earlier I'm from California. I still sometimes visit. I was visiting my old LCS and I was opening packs with one of my childhood best friends there. And I pulled a Glaber Torres gold rookie card. And I sent that off to get graded in a 20-day. And by the time I got it back, the card had just exploded. That was peak Glaber Torres, right?
That yeah,
So,
he's doing good right now.
right. So at that time, I was thinking, is it worth it to me to hold it? Do I sell it right now? If I sell it, what do I want to get? What am I going to do with the money? So I sold it. Thankfully, it was a smooth transaction, right? I sold it on eBay. And using that money, I just put it forward into that card because the timing was right. I loved the price. I loved the card. Mike Trout, forever and ever, is a guy that people will look back on. This generation that's growing up with him right now considers him the GOAT. He's the greatest player of our generation. Someday later on, I'm going to keep this card forever, right? I'm going to look back and I'm going to see the card and think, I was at that time, at that place where I could do this, right? I can look back at what I was doing at the time, collecting the cards. I'm just fortunate that the timing was right and it makes me happy, right? It is a valuable card. I could sell it, I could make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, the only thing I'd want to do with that money is just keep putting it forward into other cards I like. More, more Josh Hader, more Giants cards. It's just stuff that I want to keep because I'm that kind of collector, right? Um, I've heard a lot of times people say have a part of your collection that is untouchable, stuff that you will never let go, stuff that
100%.
is, until you die is in your hands. And for me, there is that portion of my collection, right? The guys that I PC, the cards that I love, it's because it's like it's not just a piece of cardboard. It's a memory. It's, so much like time and effort invested into that. I don't invest in cards, I invest in myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get that. Well, hey man, I want to thank you so much for being on this podcast, man. You contributed a lot, and we can find you on Instagram at Ricky.Berman or at Ricky.Breaks. And I just want to thank you again for being a part of this, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.